Then the other critters asked Zach to play on our baseball team. He plays first base. Coincidentally, getting out the boy who made fun of him. Now Zach is one of the gang. It doesn't matter that he's just a little different. It doesn't matter that he's just a little different. He's the most popular critter in the neighborhood now. But I'm still his best friend. I am still his very best friend. That is just a little different, and it's about little critter's friend Zach, who was of mixed heritage, you know. I first read this book to my first son, when he was about 4 years old. And he thought about it for a while, and he said, 4, yeah, 4. And he turned to me and said, yeah, he's of mixed heritage. His parents are different. That's like you and Mommy. Mommy's a girl and you're a boy. Yeah, so, you know, if you think about it, we're all of mixed heritage. Thank you very much. That will be all I'm going to demand of the children. Thank you for coming up and listening to me. And I enjoyed reading this book to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei. We will now do the recitation of our pledge, which can be found on the insert that should be in the back of your book, or somewhere in your book if people took it out to use as a place marker or something. And it's on the second page of the insert. This was written by Senyo Shonin, our Gomonshu, Otani Kojun, and that was in November of 2018, so it's only 4 years old. Okay, our pledge. Recite along with me, please. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Are there any announcements?
Hello, everyone. My name is Anne, and we have a group of wonderful ladies helping me organize the kitchen, the closets, and our pantry and everything, get everything organized. And we found 18 defective hoppies. So it's our standard Buddhist Temple hoppy coat, but the fabric shrinks at different rates. So the yellow and blue look kind of messy. So they were returned and new ones were made. But we have 18 of them, and some of them have been changed into little aprons that our workers can wear during different events. They're not really heavy-duty aprons, but just so you know that you're from the Buddhist temple. So anyways, instead of throwing out those 18 hoppies, if there is an individual or a group who would like to take them and make them into aprons or pillows or some such thing, we are happy to give them to you. We just, as far as eco-sangha, we'd like to recycle them, reuse them. We can use them for a sale or anything else, but please see me if you are interested in using them. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Just a reminder that we are currently running the 2022 Winter Clothing Donation Drive. And this is being done in support of Streets of Hope, an organization with a vision to give hope to those who live on the streets of San Diego. So we need jackets, sweaters, sweatshirts, thick socks, anything that is pretty much warm. So you can drop off your donations at the temple here, and we're running this drive through December 18th. So thank you for supporting this community service. initiative. Thank you.
Hi, you have heard this announcement before, but anyway, the brittle is coming this week and we'll be wrapping it. So we still have some that have been, we have ordered more than the initial order. So we still have some, but please be sure to get your order in as soon as possible. Next week, also, we are having our Monkey Sushi sale for BWA. That's a fundraiser for us. So anyway, $7 a roll. If you're interested, I think today might be the last day. Yeah, today's the last day to order. So please see me, or there's order forms in the office. Thanks.
Hello, good morning. I have a couple announcements. One is I've made this announcement once before, but the Honganji has this in commemoration of the joint celebration of Shinran Shonin's 850th memorial and 800th anniversary of the establishment of Jodo Shinshu. This Moto Shiki show is will be available for purchase. And it's a very nice motoshiki show that you can wear to services, and there's quite a meaning behind it, based on our founder Shinran Shonin. But if you'd like to order one, there's a order sheet downstairs you can order, and we'll be accepting orders until next week and at the 20th at the latest to order your motoshiki show. And the cost is $35. Also, next month, we won't be having a service on Sunday, December 11th. And that's because we're having our Mochitsuki. Mochitsuki is coming back. So on that day, we'll be busy making mochi, the sweet rice cakes for the new year. So we'll need everybody's help for that, from the youngest Dharma School students to the young at heart, to come out to help make the mochi. So there'll be a lot of jobs to do that day. And if you'd like to order mochi, there are order forms in the office. It's $6 for a 1 pound bag of mochi, which is about 7 to 8 pieces, and $10 for the 2-piece kasane. Okay, thank you. Oh, and then the orders are being accepted until November 27th. Thank you.
Good morning. Want to thank everyone who came out to support Dharma School for their Halloween party. It was lots of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. The juniors are not here today, but on behalf of them, I'd just like to welcome your donations for their annual canned food drive to benefit the Union of Pan-Asian Communities. So that'll be going through I think mid-November. And lastly, then in conjunction with the Eitai Kyo service next Sunday, we'll be observing the All Life Forms Memorial. And if you have lost a loved one, a pet, or want to show gratitude to any life form, you're welcome to fill out a form or provide a picture, and Reverend Smitty will read the name during the service. Thank you.
Please stand for the Gatha, Happy Little Children, which can be found on page 112.
Sharing, we shall all in one.
Please be seated. The Dharma School may come up and do gasho, and you are excused to your classes. Adults stay here, and you might want to move up closer, I don't know, for the adult portion of the service. The adult portion will start with the Vandana and Tisarana, which can be found on page 96, and will be led by Reverend Gibbs.
I'll do both the English and the Japanese forms in sequence as written on the page, and I invite you to join me if you will. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo kie butsu, Namo kie ho, Namo kie so. Namo kie butsu, I take refuge in the Buddha. Namo kie ho, I take refuge in the Dharma. Namo kie so, I take refuge in the Sangha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
And now Reverend Gibbs will give his adult message. I don't think he has another book for us.
No, I don't. I was thinking of War and Peace, but, you know, haven't read it myself, so. I have read Finnegan's Wake, but didn't understand it. Thank you so much for having me speak to you this morning. This is our Shotsuki Hoyo service, and the service is dedicated to the people whose names I read earlier. I really appreciate the support you've all given to me here and the friendship you've given to me. And so now we share something, and that I'm able to be here to participate with you in your Shotsuki Hoyo service for the month of November, and that is the month that my mother passed away. My mother, Myrtle Louise Trimmer Gibbs, passed away at the age of 76 on November 24th of 1992. It's been 30 years since my mother passed away, and I think of her every day, multiple times every day. From her, from my mother, I learned to value kindness, to value warmth, gentility, humor, and beauty. Goodness. I learned goodness from my mother. This morning I wanted to speak briefly with you about this matter of learning values, about gaining values. I just told you all the things I learned from my mother. We all have values, and we all learned them somewhere. I'm sure many of you also learned many of your central values from your mother, your father, and other relatives who have since passed on. I'm sorry that you lost some of them. I'm sorry that we all eventually pass on. I'm sorry that we all, at least temporarily, lose everyone. temporarily. I'm sorry that death comes to us all. We say it's natural, that's what human beings say. It's natural. That's supposed to make it all right. It's not all right. It's not all right that everything dies. It's a bad thing. It's a mess. It's a design error on planet Earth. If I could find the designer. But there is no designer. It's just all, everything happens because of electromagnetism, gravity, weak nuclear force, strong nuclear force. This is not, we put too much focus on our own feelings and thoughts when we look at the world. The world just happens. And unfortunately, part of what happens in the world is that people die. Amidst the stress and the sadness of having people we love die, nonetheless, we do learn values. We do come to have values, and we move forward. The Buddha Dharma teaches us certain values and reinforces other values that we already have, values we brought with us. The Buddha Dharma is a 2,500-year-long tradition, 25 centuries here so far. The Buddha Dharma has moved through many countries, many cultures, influencing them as it does so and being influenced by them. This is a little different from some other religions. To be honest, Christianity and Islam kind of roll in and take over. Buddhism comes in and says, well, what do you guys do? Well, what do you like? Well, we try to acclimate and to adjust and harmonize with the extant culture as much as possible. We go in and we do influence those cultures, and then we are influenced by them as well. The children's message was about being of mixed heritage. When it comes to intellectually and emotionally, we're all of mixed heritage. The Buddhism that we practice has been influenced by Indian culture, Central Asian culture, Chinese culture, Korean culture, Japanese culture before it came to us. 5 other cultures were being influenced besides North American culture. So it's quite a process of cross-pollination, Buddhism and the extant cultures of the world. As Americans, we bring values to our pursuit of the Buddha Dharma. And the values that as Americans we tend to bring with us include individualism and fairness. I won't speak much about individualism. I will mention part of what's wrong with the dreadful common Buddhist comeback when it is suggested that there wasn't enough individuality in Buddhism as it comes to us from Asia. And the terrible comeback, you've probably heard someone of Buddhist affiliations say something like this: we value every individual person because they all have Buddha nature. We value each individual person because they have Buddha nature. Is that right? Is that what makes them important? Is that what makes them valuable? Does a dog have Buddha nature? That's an old question, Does your dog have Buddha nature? Does your dog have? Probably. Probably so. Is that what makes it important? Is that why you love it? No. You love it because it's warm and caring and you bond with it and it bonds with you. It's great that every living thing has Buddha nature, but that's not why every living thing is valuable. Every living thing is intrinsically valuable. Dogs are valuable, and they are individuals. My favorite American value is fairness. Now, you might ask yourself, didn't people in ancient cultures in Buddhist countries already have a sense of fairness? No, not in the modern sense, not in our sense. Sometimes things change. Some things change. You must believe in equality to have a healthy sense of fairness, as people in the 21st century use that term, fairness. Fairness is probably a natural human sensibility, but its content is created by the cultures we live in, the thoughts we have, the religions we participate in. What is fair, what actually is fair, is determined by cultural factors, religious factors, the era in which we live. Whatever fairness meant 2,500 years ago, for a 21st century Buddhist, it must be founded on equality. Fairness means sharing equally. Now, from the first moment of our tradition, we have opposed racial discrimination. The Buddha himself said, a person is not noble because of the color of their skin or because who their parents was or which village they live in. A person is noble because of their behavior. So we've always opposed racial discrimination, but Buddhism didn't come right out and say, you got to share equally. Didn't quite say that. Sharing equally is fair as I feel it, as a modern American would feel it. Fairness, for those of us living in the mature phase of the Buddhist tradition, the development of Buddhist tradition, in its mature phase, fairness means equal worth. The Buddhist angle on fairness is every living being is of equal worth. You really must accept that. This is important. The teachings which are especially important to the Buddha are not exclusively Buddhist teachings. Equality, fairness, gentility, kindness, these are fundamental human values that are reinforced by our tradition, clarified by our teachers. But it didn't come out of the blue. The Buddha didn't pull equal worth out of the blue. It's what's real. It's what's true on this planet. We have acquired the value of fairness through North American culture. It was not fully developed until the past century. In the 19th century, in North America, slavery was still legal. Now, as we know, the institution of slavery still exists, but it's not legal very many places. And most living human beings know that it is wrong, that it is unfair. We have learned from North American 21st century culture that we must be fair to one another. We must be fair to one another. Do we need to be fair in our relations with other animals? Fairness with steers and chickens is not taught very much. Not by American culture, not by the Christian religion, which teaches that they were put here for us to eat. Traditional Christian thought is that animals were put here for our use. That's the only meaning they have. You got a dog, a cat, a bird, a fish, you got something at home that's a pet that you care about, you think it was put here for you? Maybe we were put here for them. If a rat looks at the world and say, obviously the universe created human beings so they would grow grain, which creates seeds which we can eat. Human beings were put here for the purpose of rats, so far as rats are concerned. Buddhists look at it differently. We're all valuable. Our brothers and sisters in the broader animal kingdom look at it differently than we do. They think they're just as important as we are, and they're right. According to the Buddha, all life has value. You want to preserve other life forms because otherwise the environment collapses and kills us, then we're dead. That motivation won't keep you going. You know what will keep us alive? Is if we look at other animals and plants and say, that's beautiful, that's valuable, I can't let that die. If we're just worried about ourselves, I tell you, we'll get by without the spotted owl. We'll find a way. Human beings are selfish. If it's just a matter of our surviving, we'll find a way for a long time going forward. But you know what? The spotted owl is intrinsically valuable. Every form of life is intrinsically valuable. This is the Buddhist teaching, and this is the fact of matters. All living things are worthy of our respect. We must preserve the environment because the creatures living in it are valuable. The plants and the animals in it are intrinsically valuable. All living beings are worthy of our respect. Now we're holding this Shotsuki Hoyo service in the month of November for the Buddhist Temple of San Diego, for the members and the friends of this temple who passed away in the month of November. As it so happens, my mother passed away in November, 30 years ago, November 24th. And so I was led to recall all the things I learned from my mother. Everything I learned from her, the values that she taught me to have. My mother taught me to value animals, living beings. She taught me to value beauty and gentility and kindness. My mother taught me to love animals. The Buddha taught me that the animals are as important as I am. I know people think we're kidding when we say that. We're not kidding. We really mean that. This is really the Buddhist view. It's scary if you don't value animals. You know, if that stray cat is just as valuable as I am, ooh, does that mean I'm not very valuable? How about if the fact that that stray cat is just as valuable as I am means that the cat comes up. I don't go down, the cat comes up in my eyes. I forgot how important it was. It's as important as I am. It's as important as my deceased mother was. We all count. Every living being is important. Every living being has feelings. This is the Buddhist view as sentient being. We're concerned with beings that have feeling. Everything that can experience pain or pleasure. We want every living being to feel pleasure and happiness, not pain and sadness. Every living being has feelings. Every living being is precious. Every sentient being, every being with feelings, anything that lives is important. We humans think that we're so important because we're smart. We are smart. We're very smart. And we think we're so important because we make culture and found sciences. That's what makes us so important. What makes us important is that we have feelings, just like the other animals, just like every other living thing. They all have feelings. They all have sensibilities. Every living thing is valuable, worthy of concern, is precious. Every living thing, including you, including me. Let's revel in these lives that we have received from Mother Earth and the larger environment. Let's revel in these lives. This planet is worthy. Every living being on this planet is worthy of our concern and our protection. You are worthy. You are valuable. Value yourselves, if you will. Value others. Value the Buddhist teaching. Value this community. I value this community. I'm sure you do too. And allow me to close on that thought. I will close the English language message in Gassho, saying the Buddha's name a few times. I usually start with an English translation and then go to the Sino-Japanese. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sensei. Could everybody please rise for the Gatha on Doksan 2, found on page 128 of your service book?
Nyolai dai hino ondoku wa miyoko ni shite mo hozu beshi shishu chishiki on dokumo o hone o kudakite mo shasu beshi. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu.
Please be seated for final meditation, accompanied by Anne on the organ. There can be no right action without understanding. The essence of all understanding lies in experiencing the very being of the object to be understood. Namo Amida Butsu.
No Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
No Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida
No
Butsu.
Amida Butsu.
That concludes the regular portion of the service. If you would like to offer incense, you may do so now, or please stay for the Japanese message.